What's up, everybody? Getting into this episode of B&B. Listen, Hope is so hopeless. She's sitting there talking about she hoped that Steffi doesn't get involved or she doesn't, interfere in the Brooke and Ridge situation. Cause she's talking about she doesn't want the whole Logan Forrester beef to be reignited, and she knows that Steffi doesn't want that either. Even if that beef is reunited, it's on Steffi's it's in Steffi's corner. It's in her benefit because at the end of the day, if they reunite that feud, reignite it, um, Steffi has the brass to pretty much fire Brooke and Hope's ass. Like she can fire the both of them. As co-majority shareholder and co-CEO, she can get rid of them if she wanted to. Of course, the only person that probably would really object to it is Eric old ass. Because you know how Brooke is. She'll go running to Eric about them being fired. He'll try to reinstate them, but Eric doesn't have the controlling vote to do that. He's a co-majority stockholder. You're still gonna need more votes than that, which would put Ridge in the middle of it. But either way, it's like you really don't want to keep feuding with the Foresters, especially Steffi, because Steffi is not gonna back down. Her grandmother ain't never back down, and Steffi ain't gonna back down. So it's just gonna be another war, and it is what it is. And I can't blame Steffi if she did want to reignite that feud. Why not? Like you get tired of the Logans always trying to win. Anyway, Liam sitting there talking his foolishness, talking about, oh, Brooke wouldn't be in this situation if Deacon never left his phone behind. Liam, shut up. What him leaving his phone behind got to do with them kissing, getting drunk, and laying in the bed together? It probably would have happened either way. Please, this is Brooke we're talking about. It doesn't take much. So of course Deacon came strolling up in there when he heard his name and heard them talking. People just really be walking up in folks' house on this show. I'm like, do y'all knock? Do y'all ring a doorbell? What is the point of having a doorbell if they never gonna use it? I don't play that. I'm sorry, but somebody walk up in my house, I'm gonna tell you straight up, turn around, walk back out that door, close the door, do like this, knock on that door. And then I will answer. You will tell me who you are, and I will tell you to come in. That's how we do it. You don't just walk in my household. Like I don't get. That's how people in Beverly Hills and Malibu do, but we don't do that. Like I don't play that nonsense. Um, but anyway, yeah. So Hope was telling Deacon pretty much that Brooke is on the verge of telling Ridge what happened that night. Deacon is dumb. He don't open up a can of worms with Sheila because he pretty much gave her the insight that she wanted. By him sitting there saying, "Oh, Ridge has no idea, whatever. If only Ridge knew." Once he said that, it gave her confirmation that something happened between them. And of course, she wanted the details, but Deacon tried to cover up, told her, "Oh, I'm not telling you. Even if something did happen, I wouldn't tell you." You basically did without telling her. She just don't know to the what extent. But you basically alluded that something definitely happened. She now knows that, and that gives her much glee and joy to know that Brooke is going down. I seen some people on Twitter was wondering, Steffi's the one keeping, Sheila from Hayes and Finn. Why is she not going after Steffi? I think at first she was probably thinking about doing something with Steffi, but I think the reason she didn't was because Brooke got involved. You got to remember, Brooke basically threatened her and told her like she's not going to allow her to, mess with her family, which included Steffi. So once she inserted herself, Sheila locked, she zeroed in on Brooke. She locked eyes on her. And once you become a target of Sheila, she doesn't let go until she gets you. So that's pretty much why she's going after Brooke at this point and not Steffi, because Brooke inserted herself in business that didn't involve her. So anyway, moving on from that, speaking of Brooke, Brooke was so full of it with Steffi today. She's sitting there talking about something, oh, I always knew that you didn't want me a part of your dad's life, but I was always hoping that you'd come around. Brooke is so full of shit. Brooke has treated Steffi like dog shit for years. How could you possibly hope that she would come around when you've been in nothing but scandal after scandal after scandal, plus you treat Ridge's kids like they're dirt underneath your shoe? You know what I'm saying? Like they're just dog shit that you scrape up. That's how she treats them. She doesn't care about his kids. But now she want to put on that woe is me or that little victim act. I'm like, please. We ain't none of us buying it. Not at all. Um, and I love how Steffi pretty much put her on notice and let her know, like, listen, my father could do better than you. She pretty much alluded that Brooke never changes. She never learned from past mistakes, and she wants her the hell away from Ridge. My whole thing is Brooke really doesn't learn at all. She don't. She don't. She always messing with somebody. She don't learn. And she was still smug when she was talking to Steffi. And Steffi noticed how smug Brooke was acting. Because that's how she was. She was very smug about it. And I'm glad Steffi caught it. Um, Steffi caught that shit with a quickness of how smug she was. Um, and I love how Steffi just came after Brooke, letting her know, like, obviously the feelings between Deacon and Brooke are real. Because Brooke wouldn't have did what she did. She always talking about how Ridge is the love of her life. She in love with him. You don't do that with people that's the love of your life. Like, you don't do that to them. And Brooke is forever in scandal. Um, she done slept with Deacon when he was married to her daughter. She slept with Oliver when he was with her other daughter because she thought, oh, that was Ridge. You don't know the difference between a young dude and your dude? You don't know the difference? Like, your husband is years older. You can't tell him apart from a little young boy? You might want to get your eyes checked. Even if he was wearing some type of costume or whatever, it's like you should still know your husband. You know what I'm saying? Or you should have made sure that was your husband before doing the do. I'm just saying. And surprisingly, I was so shocked even back then that Ridge forgave her. You know, that Ridge kept on with the marriage or whatever. I was shocked. But it's the lies. That's the reason why Ridge don't mess with her like that sometimes. It's her lies. She constantly lies. If she would have told him the truth back after this happened when he got home, I think it would have had a different effect than it would right now because he's hearing it from somebody else and not his wife. And the only reason she's saying something now is because she's cornered. She knows it's only a matter of time before it comes out. That's the only reason she's saying something. Too many people know, or people are getting suspicious. Deacon, Liam, Hope, they all know. Douglas now knows. It's too many people. So she knows at some point this is gonna blow wide open. So she's trying to get ahead of it. Then she tried to pick up the phone and call Ridge, and I'm glad Steffi stopped her. She said, "No, you're not calling nobody, cause it's done. Your marriage is over. It's a wrap." So Taylor was on the verge of telling Ridge what was going on. Ridge kept thinking that Taylor was talking about Brooke falling off the wagon. That's what he thought that Taylor was gonna tell him. And that's why he was like, oh, I already know. She thought that he already knew about her and Deacon. But he started talking about her falling off the wagon and stuff like that. That's when she realized, no, he don't know. I said, no, he don't. You need to let him know. Um, he was upset that she was basically coming at his wife like this until she basically let him know, like, there's more to the story of what happened on New Year's Eve than you know. She was like, your wife was with your worst enemy on New Year's Eve. He was like, I already know that she was with Deacon. Hope and Liam were, and the kids were there too. She said no. I was like, Ridge, wake the hell up. Wake up, Ridge. Wake up. And I'm glad Taylor let him know Deacon came back to your house. I cannot wait for Ridge to just move away from Brooke at this point because everything Taylor said was so spot on about Brooke. She needs a man to validate her. That's what she needs. And that's why it's so funny to me that she claims Ridge is the love of her life. She loves Ridge. But it's like when she has him, she finds a way to mess it up by messing around with some other dude. Like she always has to be with a guy. And that's sad. You know what I'm saying? Like Taylor has went years without being in a relationship. She went a few years without being in a relationship because she has a successful career. You know, she doesn't need a man to validate her. And Brooke shouldn't either at this particular stage in her life. It's like you still crave attention from men. That's sad to be 60 some odd years old and you still need men to fawn over you. That's pretty pathetic. Like look at what she did. Oliver, Deacon, Bill, all men who were unavailable. And she just could not keep her legs closed. It's like, damn, woman, do you need a rubber band or something to hold them legs tight, to hold them closed? Like, that is a damn shame. Like, no wonder Stephanie used to come at her so much back in the day. It was like, it's, ugh. Every guy that's unavailable, here she go. Always got to bust it open. I'm like, Brooke, go sit down. You would have think in her age she would have learned. I cannot wait for Ridge to confront her with this information because I wonder how she gonna try to spin it to make herself look good. Oh, I didn't know what I was doing. Because you know she going to come up with some excuses. She will. That's what Brooke does. And like I said, Ridge ain't no prize, but it's like, who wants to be in a marriage where your spouse constantly lies to you? Like, you can't even go on a business trip for one day without them jumping in bed or kissing somebody else. Like, that's sad. Every time I leave the house, I gotta wonder what the hell you doing at the house when I'm not there. Yeah, I was like, nah, I couldn't be married to nothing like that. Absolutely not. Um, I don't know. I'm still on the fence about him and Taylor reuniting or whatever because I still feel like Taylor could do better. You know what I'm saying? Why keep putting herself in the middle of Ridge and Brooke? It's like Taylor's a prize. You know, she's a good woman. She deserves somebody new, fresh, you know, somebody who's not attached to somebody else, you know, somebody that's just for her. I think she definitely should have that. But, you know, if they do put her with Ridge, then it's whatever. But I prefer her to be with somebody new. Anyway, that's pretty much the whole episode. Hit the comments, let me know what you thought. I will see you all later. Have a good night. Peace.